Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something really fundamental, I think, to achieving your goals and, well, just feeling more fulfilled.
hmm
It's about understanding how your natural abilities, your inclinations influence the habits you form and ultimately your success.
Yeah, how to work with your inherent traits, not spend all your energy fighting against them.
Exactly. Think of it as maybe getting a peek at your own operating system. So you can choose activities, build routines that just feel more natural.
Right, like finding those settings where things just sort of click for you.
And our exploration today, it's really sparked by a fascinating discussion we came across on advanced tactics for going from good to great. Specifically, a chapter looking at the truth about talent.
Yeah, it was quite insightful. We want to pull out the key ideas from that to help you understand when genes matter and maybe more importantly, when they don't, especially when you're trying to build those crucial daily habits.
And what really grabbed me was this concept of playing a game where the odds are in your favor.
hmm That's a powerful frame.
We'll dive into that, offer some practical steps maybe to help you identify or perhaps even design those kinds of favorable games for yourself.
Now, talking about inherent abilities, it can sometimes feel a bit, sensitive.
Right. People worry about biological determinism, this idea that our genes just lock us in.
Yeah, that fear that it dictates everything. But that's really not the focus here, is it?
Not at all. We're looking at how genes can highlight areas of opportunity, potential paths for growth, not some kind of fixed destiny.
Okay. So where should we start?
Well, let's begin with a really vivid example. Two incredible athletes, Michael Phelps
The swimmer, yeah. Most decorated Olympian ever.
and Hijamel Garouge.
The Moroccan runner. Legendary middle distance guy, Olympic golds, world records.
Exactly. Now, on the surface, obviously built for different things, water versus track, and the big visual difference, their height.
Okay.
El Garouge is 5'9". Phelps, he's 6'4". That's a big difference, 7 inches.
Wow, yeah. Significant.
But here's the kicker, something that really makes you think. Despite that height gap, they apparently wear the same length pants, same inseam.
No kidding. That's fascinating.
Right. And it points directly to the underlying biology that made them so, well, perfectly suited for what they did.
So Phelps, being tall but with relatively short legs for his height, had this incredibly long torso.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that in the water. It's like a long lever, super efficient for pulling himself through the water. Massive advantage.
Okay, I see. And El Garouche.
The opposite, really. Long legs, shorter torso. Biomechanically, that's just ideal for distance running, for that stride.
So it makes you wonder, right? What if they switched? Could Phelps, amazing athlete that he is, train and become an Olympic-level runner?
Well, it seems really, really unlikely. I mean, think about the weight difference, too.
Hmm.
Phelps competed around 194 pounds.
Right.
El Garouge was super lean, maybe 138 pounds. That's like, what, 40% heavier for Phelps?
Yeah.
Every extra pound is a killer in distance running.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other way around, El Garouge trying to be a swimmer.
Again, highly improbable he'd reach Olympic levels. If you look at the stats, since the late 70s, the average male gold medalist in the 1,500 meters run,
Okay.
about 5'10".
Okay, close to him.
Yeah. But the 100-meter freestyle swim, average gold medalist height is 6'4". Swimmers need that height, the long torso, long arms. El Garouge just wouldn't have the natural build.
So bringing this back to us, to habit change, what's the lesson here?
Well, it really hammers home this idea. Habits are just easier, they're more satisfying when they line up with your natural inclinations, your abilities.
Like Phelps in the water, El Garouge on the track. You want to be playing in an arena where your own makeup gives you even a slight edge.
Yeah. And this naturally leads us to think about genes, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're working away under the surface of pretty much every habit, every behavior.
It's kind of mind-blowing how broad the influence is.
It really is. Research shows links to things like how much TV you watch, your likelihood of getting married or divorced, even tendencies towards addiction, obedience levels, how you handle stress.
Proactivity, enjoying sensory stuff, it's a huge range.
There's this quote from Robert Plomin, a top researcher in this field.
Oh, yeah.
He basically said they've kind of stopped testing if traits have a genetic component because, honestly, they can't find any that aren't influenced by genes.
Wow. That's definitive, huh?
Pretty much. And these genetic influences, they sort of nudge us towards particular personality types.
Right, our consistent ways of thinking, feeling, behaving. The Big Five personality traits model comes to mind here.
Exactly. The big five. That's the standard framework. You've got openness to experience,
Curious and inventive versus cautious and consistent.
Right. Then conscientiousness.
Organized and efficient or more easygoing, spontaneous.
Extroversion.
Outgoing, energetic versus solitary, reserved.
Yep. Agreeableness.
Friendly, compassionate versus maybe more challenging or detached.
And finally, neuroticism.
Anxious and sensitive or more confident, calm, stable. Got it.
These aren't just abstract labels. There are biological links,
Yeah.
like extroversion. They've even seen tendencies in babies.
Really?
Well, studies show if you make a loud noise, some infants turn towards it, others turn away, the ones turning towards. More likely to grow up extroverted.
Huh. That's fascinating. What about the others, like agreeableness?
People high in agreeableness,
Yeah.
warm, empathetic, often have naturally higher levels of oxytocin.
The bonding hormone.
Exactly. So you can see how someone like that might find social habits, connecting with friends, volunteering easier, more rewarding. It just fits better.
That makes total sense. And neuroticism,
That's often linked to higher sensitivity in the amygdala.
the brain's threat detector.
Right. So if your alarm system is naturally more sensitive to potential threats, you might experience more anxiety, lean towards higher neuroticism, maybe find habits around safety or planning come more easily.
So personality isn't destiny for habits, but it definitely pushes us.
It nudges you. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And the big takeaway isn't to feel bad about your personality.
Right.
It's to work with it.
Yeah.
Like say you're naturally lower on conscientiousness, maybe rigid schedules are a struggle. So instead of beating yourself up, the smart move is to focus more on environment design. Make the good habit the easy default option in your surroundings. Rely less on sheer willpower.
That reframes it completely. It's strategic, not self-critical.
Precisely. Build habits that actually work for your personality. If team sports feel better than solo runs, do that. If certain foods genuinely make you feel good, lean into that diet. Want to read more, pick genres you actually like.
Find the version of the habit you enjoy.
Exactly. Because enjoyment and satisfaction, that's what makes habits stick long term.
Okay, so we see how traits shape things. How do we then actively find that game where the odds favor us? How do we identify it?
Well, consciously looking for and playing that game, it's just so important for staying motivated, feeling like you're making progress. And look, while theoretically you could maybe learn to enjoy almost anything.
Yeah, good luck with that sometimes.
Right. It's just way more likely you'll find real lasting satisfaction in things that come a bit more easily to you.
It's that cycle, isn't it? Talent leads to getting better, which leads to praise, rewards.
Yeah, that virtuous cycle. You get competent, people notice, you get rewards, you feel good, you want to do more. It feeds itself.
Pick the right habit. Progress feels smoother. Pick the wrong one. It's a constant struggle.
Like swimming upstream, yeah. And that ties right back to that third law of behavior change. Make it easy.
Ah, good point.
So often when people fail with a habit, it's not them, it's that they pick something just too darn difficult for their natural starting point.
Okay, so how do we figure out where that natural advantage lies without, trying literally everything?
Good question. This is where the explore-exploit idea comes in really handy.
Explore, exploit. Tell me more.
So when you start something new, you need an initial phase of exploration. Think of it like dating, or taking diverse classes early in college, or even A/B testing in business.
Casting a wide net, trying things out.
Exactly. Sample widely, see what sparks your interest, what feels, well, less difficult than other things.
Okay, then what?
Then, once you find something promising, you shift more towards exploiting that, really digging in, focusing your effort there.
But you don't stop exploring completely.
No, that's key. You still keep a little bit of experimentation going on the side, maybe like an 80-20 or 90-10 split. Most effort on what works, but always trying some new things.
Like Google's 80-20 time, maybe?
Sort of like that, yeah. 70% core projects, 20% related, 10% totally new stuff. The right balance depends, too. If you're winning, you exploit more. If you're stuck, maybe you need more exploration.
And maybe time horizon matters. Like early in your career, explore more.
Definitely. More time to explore makes sense then, because when you do find that sweet spot, you've longer to capitalize on it.
So during this exploration phase, or even just reflecting, what are some good questions to ask ourselves to find those areas, those habits that really click?
Yeah, there are some really powerful questions. First one, what feels like fun to me but work to others? And the key here isn't that it's always fun, but that you handle the difficulties, the frustrations better than most. You find yourself engaged when others are maybe complaining. That's a big clue.
I like that framing. Not constant bliss, but better tolerance for the grind. Okay, what else?
Second question. What makes me lose track of time?
The flow state.
Exactly. Getting so absorbed you forget everything else. That usually happens when your skills are well matched to the challenge. It's hard to experience flow without also genuinely enjoying the activity at some level.
Totally. Being in the zone. Great feeling.
Where do I get greater returns than the average person? Let's be honest, we compare ourselves.
You do.
And when you see yourself progressing faster or getting better results than others in something, that's incredibly motivating. It suggests you're playing on favorable ground.
Yeah, that positive feedback loop again. Okay, one more.
Last one. What comes naturally to me? Try to tune out the shoulds from society, parents, whatever. Just ask yourself honestly, what feels authentic? When have you felt truly engaged, like this is you? Listen to that feeling.
Tuning into that inner signal. Okay. But we have to admit, sometimes success feels heavily down to just luck, right? Being born with the right stuff or in the right place.
Oh, absolutely. Luck plays a huge role. You can't discount it. Phelps and El Garouche. Lucky to have those bodies, yes, but also lucky to have the environments, the coaching to develop them.
Right. Circumstances matter.
They do. We all have limited time, limited energy. Getting to the very top often involves a mix of hard work and fortunate circumstances lining up.
So what if you feel like the odds aren't naturally in your favor for something you want to pursue? Are you just stuck hoping for luck?
Not necessarily. This is where it gets empowering. If you can't easily find a game where the odds favor you, maybe you can create one.
Create your own game.
Oh. Scott Adams, the Dilbert guy, has a brilliant take on this.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about how most people can probably become, say, top 25% in a few different areas with some effort. He uses himself as an example. He's a decent cartoonist, better than average, but not world-class.
Okay.
He's funnier than most, but not an elite stand-up. His insight was that the magic happened when he combined being pretty good at drawing with being pretty good at jokes.
The combination.
Yeah. And then he added his business background into that mix. Suddenly, he's created this unique niche Dilbert where there was way less competition.
So it's not about being the absolute best at one thing, but about a unique blend of skills.
Exactly. If you can't win by being better in the traditional sense, win by being different. Combine your skills, combine your interests in a way that cuts down the competition and makes you stand out.
It's like you redefine the playing field.
That's it. A good player tries to win the game everyone else is playing. A great player sometimes invents a new game that plays to their specific strengths.
You actually did something like this yourself, didn't you? In college.
I did, yeah. I designed my own major biomechanics. It mixed physics, chemistry, biology, anatomy.
Why?
Well, I figured I probably wasn't going to be the absolute #1 student in just physics or just biology. So I created this specialized intersection that really interested me. Because it engaged me, studying felt less like work. And bonus, it made it harder to directly compare me to others since nobody else had that exact mix.
That's really smart. Creating your own niche.
And specialization, even within a field, is powerful. The more you narrow your focus, the harder it is for others to compete in that tiny space. Like a general bodybuilder might be super strong overall,
Right.
but could still lose an arm wrestling match to someone who only trains for arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have amazing natural talent broadly, you can often win by being the best in a very specific category.
It's like that saying, boiling water hardens an egg but softens a potato.
Exactly. You can't change the egg or the potato fundamental.
Right.
But you can choose the environment, the boiling water, where your inherent nature is actually an advantage. Choose your pond.
So this all loops back to maximizing what you do have, your genetic potential.
Yes. And it's really crucial to see this clearly. Genes don't mean you don't have to work hard. They just clarify where that hard work is likely to pay off the most.
They guide the effort.
Right. Once you understand your strengths better, you can make smarter choices about where to invest your energy, what opportunities to chase, maybe which challenges to approach differently, or even avoid.
So the focus shifts to fulfilling your own potential, rather than obsessing over someone else's ceiling.
Perfectly put. People get so hung up on perceived limits, they often don't even put in the effort needed to reach their actual potential.
And we need to be honest. Genes alone guarantee nothing.
Absolutely not. You still got to do the work. Hard work is always part of the equation. Before you chalk up someone else's success purely to luck or genes, ask yourself honestly, have I worked as hard as they did?
That's a challenging but fair question. So wrapping up the main idea then, pick things that align with your personality or skills, and then work hard on those things that feel relatively easier for you.
That's the essence of it. Find your game, then play it hard.
Okay. So as we bring this deep dive to a close, the big message really seems to be this. The secret to sticking with habits long term, feeling satisfied, and frankly, boosting your odds of success. It isn't about forcing yourself into some mold that just doesn't fit.
No, it's about being smart, being strategic, choosing the right field of competition by lining up your habits with your natural abilities, your personality.
We've touched on, understanding your genetic leanings as opportunities,
Not limits.
how personality nudges habit formation, the importance of finding your game through exploring and really asking yourself those tough questions.
And even the power of creating your own unique game by combining skills.
Right. Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener. Mull this over. What unique mix of your skills, maybe things that seem totally unrelated right now, could you combine? What interests could you weave together to create an arena, a niche, where you have a distinct, maybe even an unfair advantage?
What kind of game could you design for yourself where the odds are naturally, beautifully stacked in your favor?
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.